Say hello to our little friends. Say hello, little friends.
Hello, little friends.
That was delicious. Okay.
We are live. I'm a ghost. Yeah, I'm a ghost.
Smack my face off
I
that
saw
thing right there. It was pretty intense. Hi, Bumpity Boo.
Boo boo butts.
Alright, let's see what's happening here. We're gonna get in the convo on the phone because it's too far away over there. I'm a little out of frame here, so I move over just a little bit. It's not there. So, we're trying something a little different for this particular video. Can everybody hear us? Let us know if you can hear us or not. No, you're good.
Okay.
If you can't,
Very ghosty.
if you can't hear us, or if you want us to lessen our ghostitude, let me know, and we'll do what we need to do. Oh my goodness.
Stop following Hank right now.
I'm not trying to follow Hank. I'm trying to find us so I can get in on the convo. There we go. We can hear us. Okay, good. Okay, excellent. Everyone can hear us. Well, and by everyone I mean Eric.
Minion can hear us. Hi, Minion.
Hi, Minion. Are we accurately not ghosty? Also, do I need to reposition it maybe? Like, do I need to move us over to the side or anything? Loki's lovely butt being in the way.
Everybody likes Loke's butt.
Everyone does like Loki's butt.
Scott.
Loki does have a nice butt.
You
I'm
gotta
going to move us over to the side a little bit here.
It says there's 3 people watching. And Minion says hello, everyone. I'm just a floating head.
Well, that's because everybody, A-Dog is wearing
I'm wearing
blue.
blue.
And our background,
And have a blue cup.
our background
Is blue?
is blue as well. So that kind of makes her disappear. My pants are also blue. I didn't think this out too well, did I?
No, you didn't. I asked you if you wanted me to change. Boo boo butt. You're not a ghost. You're not a ghost. Go give me your toy, baby.
Okay, that seems like a pretty good amount. Hi, baby. Mwah. Loki says Happy New Year, everybody. Mwah. Come on, baby. You're in my way. You're in the way.
You don't.
Come on, baby. You're in the way.
You
Come
don't.
on. Move over. Okay, so we just wanted to, talk about the New Year and say Happy New Year. Hi, baby. Do you want to say Happy New Year to everybody? Say Happy New Year to everyone. Right there. So we have behind us some pictures from the year, from the beginning all the way to the end. The last thing we did was the charity event at P3.
Mm-hmm.
But the last thing we have pictures from is the charity event.
The last thing we did was the June.
Was that after the charity event
Yes,
at P3?
because it was October 12th.
When was the P3 charity event?
Oh, the P3 charity event. Never mind. That was after. Yes, I'm sorry.
That's right.
You're correct.
I know what I'm talking about.
You do know what you're doing.
Goodness gracious. So
I enjoyed the P3 charity event.
we'll go in order, from beginning to end. So first up,
Whoa.
yes, exactly. Boo boo butt. Come here. Come here, lay down.
I'm just a body right there.
Well, because Loki is in the way.
No,
I'm
that's
just a
not what
body
I
as well.
mean. I mean the photo behind us. I'm a body.
That's true. You are.
You have cut off my cute head.
Sorry. I wanted to make the picture fit the whole screen. So the first one of the year was Black Hawk Down. Was that accurate?
Well, Black Hawk Down was in May, so I believe that was the first official.
Where's your phone?
Over there, I told you.
Pull up the calendar here. We're so unprepared.
We are unprepared. Usually we're more prepared than this.
Quite. Where's your calendar on here?
On the main page. There.
Loki, can you lay down for me, babe? Loki,
No, Daddy,
Lay
but
down.
I can stand in
Sit.
front of everybody.
sit.
Look at my cute sick boy.
Sit,
I'm
baby.
so pretty.
Loki, can you lay down for me? Yes, so May 11th was the first event of the year, and that was Black Hawk Down. The next time I see a picture from that pop up, I will show it to you.
We were everywhere and did everything.
So our general for that one was Shadow,
Yes.
who
Mister, I don't have a speech and
he
then
doesn't
talks.
give speeches, but he gives speeches. Basically, he'll just never shut up. Is that why you're standing here, baby?
Yes.
Because of the heater? Is that why? So I'm just gonna turn that off then. And we ended up being we got 2 awards.
Yeah.
We got Most Valuable Team, and we got Young Gun Awards, which 3 of our teammates got. We didn't actually get.
I'm not the
Loki,
young
come
one.
here. Come here.
I think at this point I'm the
Hold
oldest. No. Paul's the oldest.
Apparently it crashed and came back. Lay down, baby. So, yes, so Shadow was the general. We ended up winning Most Valuable Team, and then Young Guns, which
So
was
Clark,
Clark, Colin, and Minion. Which Luke, for some reason, did not partake of that. Don't know why. But there you have it. I don't know why Colin did partake of that. No offense to Colin, he's just too old. He's 18. So he was too old to be partaking of that, but he did. Loki, you've ruined our green screen here. Or blue screen is more accurate. Okay, that's better than it was. And it was fun, as they all are. It was unfortunately the worst Mission Masters that we've ever been to. Would you agree with that?
No, I wouldn't.
What would you say?
I think Temple was worse.
You think Temple was worse? Okay.
I do.
It was the worst up to that point, though.
It was not the. I hate to say that it was. Now, when we say worst, like worst of Mission Masters is still a good scenario.
Compared to other ones, yes.
It definitely was not the best. I think as collectively as a team, I think we played the best. I think we were always together. We were very successful. If you look back at Mission Masters pictures, we're in every photo. One of us is in every
Pretty much.
There's a Dunedain member in every photo. 95%.
Hi, baby. Loki wants to get in on the love. Oh, baby. Mwah.
There wasn't enough differences between each mission. It could have, at the end, just been a full gameplay. There wasn't enough differentiation between each mission. Spawns were usually the same. The missions didn't have that much difference to them, I thought. I thought that was a problem you had, that like 3 of the 7 missions were exactly the same spawn points.
They pretty much
More
were.
so, the main objective or primary objective, however you want to classify it, was more or less the same.
Yeah, they were. About 3 of the 7, I think you're right about that.
They've also done Black Hawk Down.
This was,
What, the 3rd year? 4th year?
I think this was the 3rd time we've seen them do Black Hawk Down in the time that Dunedain has been a team, which is coming up on 6 years. So in 5 years, they've done it 3 times. Not sure why they felt the need to do it again, but they did. And Loki, you're messing things up again. Blanket from the leg. Come here, baby.
He's not small enough to fit under there with just
Yeah.
walking.
Lay
Be
down.
a tall pup.
Lay down.
Why don't you just put the heater on facing him?
Come here, baby.
Maybe that will help him.
Minion says he just carried a lot of flags that game. We carried a lot of stretchers that game too.
We did. We carried a lot of bodies, a lot of stretchers, a lot of flags.
I think 3 of the missions, or 4 of the missions, including carrying a body on a stretcher, which, I mean, Black Hawk Down, that's kind of what it's about. That makes sense, but it is very repetitive, and it was also repetitive location-wise, and I felt that the spawns were too close together on a number of them.
But, going back to it being repetitive, if that's the one thing about Mission Masters you get, I feel, is integrity and a lot of, it's a very detailed story. They want to do the war, the event, justice, and I feel that they put a lot of respect into honoring the wars that they do. When the Mission Master has to do with a particular war, I feel that they honor it very well and do a lot of research. So, do you blame Mission Masters for how similar everything was, or do you just accept what the event was based on and how maybe there was just similarity in what happened over there?
A little bit of both. I blame a little bit of both. The missions themselves, that was obviously historical, but the spawn points and where they put the missions and all that stuff, that was all their planning. So they could have spread it out more. They could have put one over here, one over here, one over here, but instead they put 2 of them there and 1 over there. So a bit of both. But overall, I mean, it was still fun. That's for sure.
It was definitely, if you look back at all of the scenarios we did, specifically scenarios, not just events, it was one of the best scenarios of the year.
Yeah, I guess.
And I'm speaking purely just scenarios.
I think we skipped one.
We did skip one. We skipped.
Wasn't Arbitrage before that?
Yeah. But
So before that actually then was Arbitrage, which was a steel, what is it?
Smoldering Steel.
Smoldering Steel. It was at P3. Adog took pictures there. She didn't play, and then Dalton and I were the only players, right?
Yeah.
No, was Clark there?
No, it was just you.
Are you sure?
No. Clark's kind of ninja-esque. You
I don't
see
know.
him,
Clark-
and then you don't see him.
Clark may have been there. I seem to think that he was, but I'm not actually
But
sure
there's
of
no
that.
pictures of him. There's pictures of you. There's pictures of Dalton. There's pictures of Jason. There's no pictures of Clark.
Maybe he wasn't then. I don't know. But in any case, that one was actually the first one.
I was. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, sorry, Paul. Because Paul was did he write it and produce it?
I think so.
So he did all that. And it was good for the most part. It's our general was pretty terrible, but that we've discussed many times in the past. He was the same general we had in a past game, and he was terrible then. He was terrible this time, but still had fun.
It's very unfortunate when you have a general who doesn't listen to you at all, or who will listen to a few, or who just doesn't care. I felt that we had a lot of generals this year that didn't care. I think we played against generals who didn't care. I think we were generaled by generals who didn't care.
I feel like this is all quite true. Keep talking. I have an idea.
You have an idea.
I have an idea. You keep talking.
Okay, so anything more about Smoldering Steel? How did you feel about Smoldering Steel? You enjoyed this was the first time you bought all those smoke grenades and all those paint grenades. How did you feel about that?
That's true. I did do a lot of grenading.
Do you have a preference of your grenade? Do you feel that paint grenades are really worth the $8?
Well, thankfully, I don't pay $8 for them.
Okay, regardless of what you pay for them. They are $8 for the masses. Do you feel that that's worth it?
It depends. It definitely. Oh no.
Oh no, we're breaking!
It
Sit
definitely.
down!
It definitely depends on the type of grenade. The type of paint grenade definitely matters. P3's paint grenades are a whole.
You excited the dog. The dog was lying there very nicely.
Lot better than other style ones.
Lay down, baby. No, you can't eat that. What is this? What is that? Is that part of your toy that you ripped to shreds? Yeah.
That did not do what I wanted it to do.
Is that part of your toy that you ripped to shreds?
But I would say they do actually serve a purpose. Because later, when we talk about Reaper Siege, I'll talk about how useful they were. I didn't quite know how to use them yet at that game. That is definitely true. I didn't quite know how to use them yet.
You were doing so good.
Because, I guess just lack of practice, maybe. But they definitely didn't do as well for me as I would have liked them to do. But I think that's more my fault than anything else.
Lay down there. Go. Yeah, no, you too.
But I would say they can be quite useful. They can definitely be useful.
Good boy. Good boy.
But I had fun at the event. I mean, there were definitely things I can nitpick here and there, but I think it was pretty good. That's a little better. Okay, so.
So then,
Come here, Lil.
anything more do you have to say about Blackhawk?
Well, Black Hawk Down, we had Danger Man. So Lars came in. Come here, Lil. Come here, baby. So that was fun. That was nice that he was there. I didn't actually get to play with him very much, unfortunately. He was always on.
I didn't see him the entire day.
He was always on a different part of the field, which was.
I had the assumption that I was not going to be playing with him because we have different game styles, but I think you and him have similar game styles.
Not on that particular game, though. We were always in different places. Always. I don't think I saw him on the field.
Yes, but if you have two strong, aggressive players, why maybe they shouldn't be on the same part of the field?
Well, I don't necessarily disagree with that, except for the fact that
Can you lay down?
I was where the missions were, as we talked about. We were doing all the missions, which means that he was not where the missions were.
He was not where the missions were, which I deemed a little odd, but you know.
Yeah, that's. I mean, usually he pays more attention to that. He is more of a. He does like to just go shoot, but usually he likes to shoot for a purpose. So I'm surprised that he wasn't doing that. But hey, it was still fun. He did win the very first Minion Award of all time. Lay down, baby. Lay down. Lay down. Lay down.
You know, whether you like him or not, and you know, I think it meant a lot. I don't want to speak for you for him to just come out. We're really nobodies.
What, baby?
I don't mean that to be negative. Like,
What, baby?
he took the time out and he drove all the way here, and I hope that he enjoyed Pittsburgh. I hope he enjoyed playing that game. I know that he gave Three Rivers, he wrote an article about that scenario to
Yep.
boost Three Rivers. So
Bring a quieter toy, pup. This toy's too loud.
I hope he enjoyed our hospitality. I hope he enjoyed playing in Pittsburgh. You know, you kind of don't realize, you know, Pittsburgh is known as the sports town. We have the Steelers and the Penguins and the Pirates, whether you think the Pirates should be minor or major league, but we've always been a sports town, and you don't realize that we're a paintball town. We have a lot of fields in our area, or even in a 2-hour radius of our
Yeah.
area.
I'm not sure our volume of paintball compared to other cities of our comparable size, but I do know we have a lot. That's
We
for
have
sure.
a lot. And it's, you know, having Three Rivers be our home field quite some time. There was on max at the 15 people on average on a good day in the summer. And the only day you really saw huge numbers were the Turkey Bowl. But then you go to Pittsburgh Paintball Park and there's 40 people alone in a party on a Saturday. So
Okay.
my point is that I think more people play paintball than I think the general public realizes.
Not on a regular basis, though.
I don't know, 'cause it's not like tennis or basketball where you can just go to the park and play a game.
Look, you need to bring a quieter toy. That's too loud.
Go get your turtle. Go get your turtle ball.
So anyway, next game. What was next? Good answer.
I have no idea, honestly.
Good answer.
June? Did anything happen in June?
D-Day happened in June.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Well, the MagFed tournament was next.
Oh, the MagFed tournament. I like to forget about that.
So the weekend after was the MagFed tournament. Well, there were 4 of us there. So it was Colin, Eric, and the 2 of us, and Loki was there. There were only 2 teams playing, honestly. It wasn't much of a tournament. I did not have fun. I can honestly just say that out. Just say that. Now, that's not the fault of Xavier. That's not the fault of Slaughterhouse. Those are pretty much the same thing. But the problem was twofold. One of it is us. One of it is the situation. Neither is the field or Xavier's fault. So the problem was on their end. There's only 2 teams. Now you can't blame them for that.
No, you can't.
They put the word out. They tried to get people
And I
there.
think they had teams lined up.
They had 4, and then they dropped down to 3, and then like the week before they dropped down to 2.
The thing is, and again, no fault of Xavier's whatsoever, is that the team we played against.
Well, that's the other part. I haven't gotten there
Oh,
yet.
I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
And actually, there is 3. So part 1 is there were only 2 teams. Part 2, this I actually do slightly blame on Xavier. It was a 5-man. We only had 4 players. The other team had 5. The reason I kind of blame Xavier a little bit is because he found us a 5th player. But in reality, he found somebody who was interested in being a fifth player, but not necessarily. And he ended up not being able to do it. Monkey, what's the matter, baby? What? Come here. Come here before you mess things up.
Or you hurt yourself.
That fifth player ended up not being able to be on our team, not being there at all. And apparently he had told Xavier he was thinking about it, but never really gave the go-ahead. So that kind of sucked. So it was 5-4. Now, one of their players was a little kid. That being said, he had a die rotor with a box loader.
Also...
Or not a die rotor. He had a die dam with a box loader,
Reg-
which is basically just a speedball gun, while the rest of us are using mag-fed guns for the first time ever.
And regardless of him being a little kid, which at some point has its advantages, it's helpful to be small and to be able to get low very easily. And when you're small, you get low very easily because you're closer to the ground. But it wasn't like he's never played before.
Yeah, he's pretty decent for a little kid. Like for a 10-year-old, for a 12-year-old, he's pretty good actually.
He's played numerous times. His father plays. So like, you shouldn't.
But anyway,
regardless
the point
of
is,
the number, you shouldn't discredit a kid.
Yes.
That doesn't matter.
Right. So my point is 5-4. And then the other part is the part you were talking about. Which is, it was our first time playing a mag-fed tournament at all. It was only my second time ever playing a mag-fed gun. I've tried it once, you've seen the video, that was it. A-Dog has never used a mag-fed gun, ever.
I think we went to Three Rivers to just practice shoot, not move. Just stand there and kind of get used to it, and I shot Minion. Because Minion likes to be the target. I don't know why Minion, but you go with your bad self.
And then Colin has, even now, has still only played a few number of games.
And he held his own.
Yeah, he did well. I'm not saying anything bad about it.
No,
I'm just saying that compared to everyone else there, he had no idea what he was doing. Compared to everyone else there, including that young child.
No.
And they're good players in general.
Good, and they're all mag-fed
But they're all
players.
mag-fed players.
And
that's their home field.
They're all good players.
And that's their home field. So we were at a major disadvantage.
Major
disadvantage.
Major.
But the reason I did not have fun is all of those put together. All of them added up equaled me not having fun. That doesn't mean it was a bad event. By the means, like, there was nothing that they could have done to make it better. It was not their fault. But I didn't have any fun, so there's that.
I had one shining moment, and it was when I was lone dog. This was before I got to be lone dog, but I shot Ryan Mowry straight in the mask, and I was like, yes. And then the next game, I didn't get him that game, but he saw where I was, and he saw my gun peek out, and he got scared, and I was like, yes. That's the only shining moment.
I think we got 1 point the whole tournament. I managed to get the stick and change it. That was it. I think that was the only point we got. Yeah. Yep, 1 point.
That's not my game. And I just felt that there were some parts, and I'm not going to mention them because I do not want to say anything negative because I respect Xavier too much, and this has nothing to do with Xavier Slaughterhouse or the events he puts on. There were some aspects of specific games we played that I felt we were really at a disadvantage, and they used that against us, and it became a bigger disadvantage.
That is incredibly vague and unhelpful. I can't even agree.
I know you.
I can't agree or disagree because I have no idea.
I
what
don't
you're
want to say.
Loki.
I don't want it to come off
Stop,
where
baby.
I say something and a specific player gets mad because I say something about a player style. So vaguely, I'm gonna keep it very vague, and you don't have to agree with me. I just felt that there were moments
Loki.
that things shouldn't have happened.
Loki, stop it.
And we were at a bigger disadvantage. Mostly because of that stupid box loader.
Yeah, I don't.
You give them an extra player.
So I'm
they
gonna-
have an extra player.
So I will bitch and moan about the box loader just to briefly. And this isn't because of the fact that we were against the box loader. This, although that helps me know how bad it is. Come over here and lay down. I've always seen it this way. A box loader, specifically on a die dam, but pretty much anything. At that point, it's just a speedball gun. That's what it is. A die dam with a box loader. It's fully auto, or a 3-round burst, or even if you do semi-auto, you can still pull the trigger fast enough. It's a speedball gun. That's what it is. At a mag-fed tournament. So the rest of us have 20 rounds at most. He's got 200. The rest of us can shoot as fast as our trigger can go. He can hold the trigger in and shoot 23 balls a second. That's not a mag-fed tournament anymore. That's a speedball tournament. And honestly, if you're going to go that route, then just let me use my speedball gun, and we would have done much better.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what to say about it.
When I was lone dog, and everybody knew I was lone dog, it was...
Loki! Come here, Loki. Come here. Come here. Come on. Loki, come.
Can you get a paper towel for me, please?
Yep.
It was me, and there were 2 other people. They were both on... One was on my right, one was on my left, vice versa. And if I'm getting shot from the one side, they're moving up on the other. And I was completely pinned down. And then I got overshot in a ridiculous amount. And, you know, Xavier took it very fairly, and I appreciated that.
It was to the point where...
But I got overshot.
Where one of the so Xavier came to me and said, "Hey, without anyone saying anything, one of my refs told me she was getting overshot, so we're going to give you the penalty." Without, like, I'm not usually one to look for penalties or ask for penalties or anything like that. And I wasn't going to request one unless, like, it's really merited. If it's really merited, I'm going to ask for it. And I didn't actually really see too much of what happened to her, so I wasn't looking for it. But he came to me and said, "Hey, my one ref, which actually is his sister, said that A-Dog got overshot, so they gave us a penalty for it."
And I wasn't even going to say anything. That's the game. Like...
But that just goes back to that's just a speedball gun, honestly.
Mm.
But anyway, so that was that one. Next up, we had D-Day.
I believe so.
Is that right? Yes. So, nope, 2-man tournament.
That was the 2-man tournament.
So next was the 2-man tournament at Bad Company that the 2 of us did together, and then Dalton and Badee were together. So you'll see pictures of that floating around here. I think this one actually is from that one.
Yeah, you didn't wear...
Yeah, because I didn't wear my jersey.
You didn't
at that
wear
one.
your jersey.
So this one is from the second one with me and Dalton. That was later in the year. So this one was the 2 of us, and then Dalton is wearing his Vulcan jersey because he wasn't playing as Dunedain, he was playing with his friend Badee. They came in...
3rd. No. 5th.
They came in 5th and we came in 7th, is that right?
I think so.
I think that sounds about right. It was a great game. It's a lot of fun. We got pwned. We got pwned real hard, but it was still a lot of fun. It was a good time. I really enjoy playing at Bad Company for several reasons, not the least of which Tim is just a great guy.
But Tim is a great
Tim is a great guy.
is a great guy.
But I don't want to say there are none, but there are extremely few times I can think of where there was an issue, like a sportsman issue or overshooting issue or anything like that. I'm not going to say there aren't any, but there's so few and in between that they almost disappear. And I think it's a great place, and I had a lot of fun.
Also, best outhouse ever.
They have apparently a very clean outhouse. I've never been in it.
It's amazing. It's immaculate.
I always pee in the trees. So
it's legitimately, for not being a Mr. John's or an actual Porter John, it is a outhouse that I believe
you look wonderful in that photo.
that Tim built. It is immaculately clean. It smells great in there. Your butt's warm. Like, it is just perfect. And
Does he have a heater in there?
No, but it's warm in there because it's a wood shack, essentially. You got a lot of room up in there. And I really should be focusing more on the great
gameplay, maybe. Look, you're getting a flag.
I think it's
that was at the 2 men. She's getting that flag.
Look at me. I have
Run with that
horrible
flag.
form. I think it's one of the best tournaments that we've played in. Now, I'm sure you enjoyed playing more with Dalton because you won with Dalton.
We didn't win. We came in
You
second.
got in. Okay. We all know how good Dalton is, though. I'm not Dalton.
This picture was from that. So you can see the two of us are wearing our jerseys. Those two aren't.
But playing other tournaments, Tim's just very organized. Tim has a game plan, and if his game plan doesn't work, he has a contingency for his game plan. And he's really just out there to have fun. And you can tell that he plays the game and he loves the game. So that's what makes those events great. That's what makes Bad Company great. Besides being a very well-kept field. It's small, it's very intimate, but it's a good field. For being one field and smaller than most, it's a fun field. You don't get bored. With the 2-man, you either play on either side. You don't get bored playing that field. You don't get bored watching. Even when players do the exact same thing, it's still not boring. You can see the entire field. You have a good vision of what's going on. It's fun to watch.
Minion says that Dalton is the favorite, confirmed. I don't think that anyone's ever been secretive about that.
I'm not secretive about my love for Dalton.
Wait. Now that we've officially drafted Paul.
Oh, Paul fits into his own separate category.
I'm gonna make you. I'm putting you on the spot, A-Dog. Who's your favorite besides me? Who's your favorite?
Until Paul gets a Dunedain shirt. It's Dalton.
Now, once Paul gets a Dunedain shirt, then what?
I don't know.
I'm putting you on the spot. You have to answer.
No.
Who's your favorite?
No.
Ready?
No.
3,
No.
2,
I won't.
1.
You can't make
Go.
me. No.
All right, so that means that Dalton is still the winner, and she doesn't want to insult Paul's beautiful beard. That's what it comes down to.
Paul knows how I feel about him, and Dalton should know how I feel about him. It's not any secret. I do not keep secrets about how I like my men on this team.
Naked?
Yes. Naked and sweaty. No, I'm just kidding.
He says he doesn't know where he falls on the list, nor does he want to know. Dalton knew it.
Dalton knows how I feel.
So that was that event. It was a great time. And then was Day of Days, 68 caliber Day of Days at Three Rivers. This is officially the last one. They're not going to be doing it anymore. We have word on that. I don't know if we're supposed to tell people that. Oh well, it's out there now. For the three of us that are watching this, it's out there now. So that they will not be doing 68 caliber D-Day anymore at Three Rivers.
They might still be doing D-Day.
We probably, almost definitely we wouldn't have gone back even if they did it again, unless one of our teammates decided to be general. We weren't going to go back anyway.
I think we had our good run. We
did.
did 5 years of it.
Yeah, we had a very good run. It was just repetitive. It was the same thing over and over again, and less people showed up every year. I think this year was about as many people as last year. But that's that's like 60 people, maybe 70 people.
To the deficit of not the field or not the scenario, the last 2 years has been Father's Day weekend, which was a little bit of a point of contention with Mike, because I would go shoot my daddy on Father's Day. I'd be like, Daddy, you're coming with me. He probably would go if I told him that's what I was doing. But
So I mean that's part of the problem.
That was
That's
that was
probably
an issue.
that might even be a big part of the problem. But the point is, however you get there, it ends with there are less and less people every year. They don't change very much, if anything. So it's very repetitive, and yeah, I mean it's just they should change it up a little bit. I feel so. Unless one of our teammates were decided they wanted a general, we wouldn't have gone back anyway. I don't think, unless they came to us and were like, "Hey, we really want you to general because we have no one else." And then we probably would have at that point too. But so for this year, we actually were not going to be generaling or anything. We had told them you had by that point you had won 2 out of 3 generalings, or 2 out of 3. As German general, she'd won 2 out of 3. And we decided it's time to let somebody else do it. We had discussed with Adam the American general switching. We would do America, he would do Germany. He ended up not agreeing to that.
Because he wanted to win as America.
Which okay. But we were going to go and be on America's team.
Because you wanted to run out of the boats. I was not going.
Yeah, she wasn't going to play.
To be playing.
She was going to take pictures. But I wanted to try coming out of the boats. And as I always do, regardless of anything else, I thought of game plans on how we would win. I was only going to share it if he asked me. But if he came to me, and if he came to us and said, "Hey, do you have any ideas?" I would have given my ideas. I wouldn't have just I wouldn't have imposed myself on him though.
Because you wanted to keep them in case you general.
In case we ever generaled separately. But then the day of came and Adam didn't show up. He had hurt himself. He had injured
severely, apparently.
Yeah, he tore his shoulder or something.
I think it was actually a tendon in his forearm.
But in any case, he wasn't there. And so, long story short, she ended up generaling. For the American team, we lost the beach, but then we ended up kicking ass the rest of the day. And so the beach is worth 600 points. Either the U.S. starts with 0 points or 600 after the beach. So we started with 0, and we still ended up winning by how much?
800.
We had over 880 points more than we needed because the U.S. needs 2,000 to win. You can only get 3,000. We ended up with 2,883 or something like that.
I don't know if this is brilliant strategy or dumb strategy, but when we lost the beach, in my mind, and maybe I made it in my mind, I thought we were down 600 points.
We were not.
We weren't.
We started at 0.
I understand.
We can't go lower than 0 or higher than 3,000.
Okay, but in my mind, because we had lost the beach, my mind went straight to we're already down 600. So as soon as that bell rang, heat of fury. And I don't know if other generals do this. I count points. I pay attention to what I have. Now, Mike, who's doing points, was also in the tent. So when he did something, I paid attention to get it. I was more focused on things that I might have missed without him being there because I paid attention to when I wasn't getting a card when I should have. But I count points. I pay attention to what's on the board. And so I calculate what we need to do. And I think that's a component of why we win is because I pay attention to what we're down by or what we need to win or if we lose something, if that's going to set us back.
Yes. What she said. I had a lot of fun with it. Even the beach did not work the way we wanted it to. I think a big part of that was twofold. One, people didn't do what I said for them to do. Second was there just weren't enough people there to make the strategy I had thought of work the way it should have. We needed more people to do what I wanted to do. That being said, basically, boiling it down, I wanted people to hold back, and then at the end, push forward. Like that, at its simplest would be it.
You didn't care about the time it took to take the beach.
As
You
long as
just
we won,
wanted to
right.
get the beach.
So my point, so like I said, at its minimum would be hold back until the end and then push forward.
No big
Well,
deal.
when it came time to push forward, me, Dalton,
James.
yeah, well, I was gonna say me, Dalton, and Bad Company, which includes James,
Okay.
ran forward. So there's about 5 of us. No one else did. So there were about 30, 35 people on our team. So that means about 5 of us ran and 30 stayed back at the bottom. By that point, Adog was out of, you were out of paint, right? So you were just yelling people to move forward. So,
Which I felt really down. And then at one point I just started walking up the hill.
yeah, I mean,
It's like-
honestly, I was walking. I was trying to show people, like, just move.
If we
Forward.
would have all just moved
I was
up,
just
we
walking up the hill. My shoe ended up falling off. So at the very end, he was like 30 seconds. So Dalton and I ran as fast as we could. My shoe came off, so I fell over. Dalton made it to the flag, but didn't get it out.
He couldn't.
It wouldn't. He had to pull straight up, but he didn't. He kind of turned it, and then so it didn't come out. So we didn't get it. But in any case,
Also, there was wiping. Just saying.
I didn't see it. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. But in any case, we lost the beach. Still had fun. Then the rest of the day we did awesomely. Again, the strategy I had thought of did not quite work out. That I actually blame on the people I had do it. I just don't think that I conveyed to them well enough what I wanted them to do. I don't think it was their fault. I think I didn't explain it well.
Now, we only had, it was just 4 people from Dunedain that were there.
Mm-hmm.
And luckily we had good radio contact. So we had radios with Bad Company, specifically Mary.
Mm-hmm.
And Mary is the queen of communicating and letting you know what's going on out in the field. But this goes back to playing against a general who didn't bring it, or I felt didn't bring it. And I don't want to, I sit here on my high horse and I bitch about the command bros, and I don't want to do that. I don't care. End of the day, he should have brought it and he did it.
Basically, I felt that their general did not put enough effort into the game.
And
we're so like that. It comes in. Take into consideration remembering that we like winning. I really enjoy winning. I don't mind losing, but I prefer winning. I really enjoy winning. But I've
we all
always
know
said
how I feel.
I've always said that I would rather I'd rather lose a really good game than win too easily, and it's true. And we won too easily, I think.
And
as far as points go.
So first year, I remember I spent a lot of time constructing a plan instead of laying out
implementing the plan.
Mm-hmm. So as soon as that air horn bell goes off, you need to either take a flag or contest or put a mission into place.
Yep.
And if you don't do that right off the bat, you're not going to win. And that's why we lost by 80 points the first game, first year.
The first year that she general, we lost in the last 3 minutes, and we lost by under 100 points.
That was also my fault because we had...
But we're talking about 2019 this year.
Okay.
So the point is that they should have done better than they did, especially considering they had a couple of teams, a couple of organized like groups of 2 or 3 or 4. We had Bad Company, and that was it. It was me, Dalton, Adog, and Jake, and then Bad Company had about 4 or 5, and then just a bunch of random people.
I think there were 7, including James and Mary.
Was it okay? So
I
7
think there were
7 including those 2. Okay. But in any case, I had a lot of fun.
I had a lot of fun. We won.
We won. So we had a lot of fun. And then, Mike and Nicole were there, weren't they?
Yes.
Because they got... Did they get Radio Man? No, Mary got Radio Man. They got most...
Yeah.
Did they get most valuable team or player?
I think I gave...
You
Tyler
gave
got...
team to Bad Company.
Tyler got Young Gun for my... Or no,
Okay,
there was
is
no
that
Young Gun, but I think I gave Nicole something.
Okay. Well, in any case, they did well.
They got something.
They got something. But yeah, it was a good time.
And
Wasn't the greatest game, but still a lot of fun. And that's going to come up later, actually. I'm not sure if it's next or if it's.
And because we played with them, they're good friends on the field, and we always look for each other because we like playing with each other. And they're different styles than we are. Mike is mag fed. Nicole.
Well, he's Milsim. I wouldn't.
Milsim.
He's not mag fed.
I thought he had a mag fed gun.
I don't think so. Well, in any case.
Regardless, I like them.
So next was Ion.
That was probably the highlight of the season.
So A-Dog, Dalton and I, and then we went with a new friend, Bill. We rode most of the way. Well, not even halfway, probably 2/3 of the way. We met up in Blairsville. Yeah. Which is also where we picked up Dalton. So he rode just as much, but he rode a different car. But in any case, and then we spent the weekend together. We had met him at Blackhawk. I feel like I'd met him before that, but the first time we actually spent time together, we were on the same team for Blackhawk, and he was in our gazebo, so we were kind of his commanders for that. And he came with us, and there are so many memorable things from this year's Ion that is just too long to talk about. But basically, it boils down to, and this is not unusual from past experiences, the gameplay, fun but not great, but the company is just wonderful. And by the company, I mean the people, but also Mayhem Company. Both of those things.
Dougie Doug. Dougie Doug is my second favorite ginger.
So it was...
Do you know what I just realized? I call Paul Paulie Paul, and I call Doug Dougie Doug.
You do.
And they're both my gingers, and I'm very possessive of both of them, and I love both of them very, very much.
Well, in any case, Dalton had probably two of the most memorable sayings from that weekend. One was, "Your words do, your orders do not." And this was in reference to the orders that we were getting from high command about something they wanted us to do.
Which was dumb.
Which was super dumb. I'm not going to go into it. But in any case, basically we were stuck in a position. We were told not to move. And Doug was like, "This is what we're doing. Does that make sense?" And Dalton said, "Your words do. Your orders do not." And Doug was like, "Yes." So that was part. But then the other part, the other thing that Dalton said was basically what I had just said about he didn't think the gameplay was that great, or he didn't think the game itself was that great. He thought there was a lot of cheating and stuff, but the people that he met were wonderful, and I very much agree. I probably had the most fun this year just hanging out with people. Part of it's that we know them more. We've met them several times now. We had Dalton with us. We had, Doug and Ryan.
You were kind of a little family, and a lot of people from Mayhem come from the same areas. So there's a big Boston, or more so Massachusetts group that know each other outside of Ion. But you never feel like you're just a big family for those 4 days. It's very nice. It's one of the best things about Ion, I feel, because there's a lot of shit that happens on that field, and you get very frustrated about a lot of shit that happens. And coming from me, who was itchy for the entire 4 days.
So the cheating this year, unfortunately, was very bad. I also had the most pain I've ever had on a paintball field this year. I got hit in, I think it was my right nut. I'm not sure. It was one of my nuts. And
yeah, you came off the field. You never do that.
I had to leave the field because I was in some... First of all, I was gasping for air. And I crawled off the field. Luckily, I was pretty close to the edge of the field. I was on the beach. I crawled off the field. Not being able to breathe very well the whole time. Took a couple hits in the back of the head trying to get off the field. and that meant nothing to me. I just kept going. That's how much pain I was in. So I don't know what happened,
You have to get your
but
cup.
I've gotten hit in the nuts before, and it hurts, but nothing like this one. Oh boy, it was bad. But yes, it was bad enough where Dalton had actually declared that he was definitely never going back. And I had basically said
Not
that
enough children.
there's not enough children for him to shoot. I had said one of two things, Dave, or I told Adog one of two things, is that I would go back if either she became a commander or if someone asked me to go with them. So that was what it came down to for me. We'll talk more about that in the future, but that's what happened this year. It was, I still had fun, but there was unfortunately quite a bit of cheating I felt this year.
That's the only time I wasn't itchy.
Was when the cheating was happening?
No, when I was on the field. Like, I was afraid, and I told Doug, when we got onto the beach, I was like, I'm gonna stay back here. And not because I want to, because if I crawl in that grass, something may seriously happen to me. Because the last time I broke out in hives that bad, I was in 4th grade,
Yeah.
5th grade.
Yep.
I
She had a lot
had high, like my
everywhere.
hands were swollen, my feet were swollen, everything below my waist except for my hand, or like it got onto my stomach, and I was like, I am done.
Now,
Just kill me.
she was not itchy on the field.
was
but
not
off
itchy on the
It
field
was
at
very,
all.
It was very odd. I don't understand what happened.
There must have been
But-
something in our campsite.
Yep. So in any case, that was good. A good time.
I
With-
did not
with
have
people.
shingles.
Next event, the next weekend actually, which was like the hottest weekend of the year,
Yeah.
I swear,
It was 96, I think.
was
94?
Bunker Hill. Now, I have extremely mixed feelings about Bunker Hill. And here's why. I don't think I've even told you this. These are my mixed feelings. Second worst game I've ever been to. Worst game for her. Very worst game for her. Second worst for me as far as the game
It was-
itself. But here's my mixed feelings. I had a lot of fun. I just had a good time. And I think part of the reason for that is
you ran around
because
with a flag and drank tea, or more so Gatorade, out of a teacup.
I did do that. But I think the reason I just had a good time was because I was just there to have a good time. I was tired from Ion. I wasn't putting forth that much effort. I had planned on not putting forth effort. We weren't in command of everything. We had barely put any effort into
We didn't put any
to
effort.
studying it or anything. I had done some, because I always do, but it ended up doing us no good because their map was shitty. It didn't mean anything. Their rules were shitty. They didn't mean anything.
Nothing meant anything.
Nothing about
And
what it
that-
should have been. It was not Bunker Hill in the slightest. So any research I would have done meant nothing. But in any case, I had a lot of fun. I just had fun. I just goofed around and had fun, honestly.
I think you have fun on a paintball field regardless of the situation. Because
Okay.
I think you just like it that much. Now I'm not you, so I'm not going to put words in your mouth, but
But you just did. I'm not gonna do this thing that I just did. Where you come on?
I don't. I just hated it so much. But at the same time, I enjoy playing paintball with you. I enjoy playing paintball with Mike and Nicole. So, yeah, there was fun to be had. It wasn't like we didn't have fun, or I didn't have fun, or you just said you had fun. But it was the worst scenario I had ever been to, and I really, again, going back to we had really bad generals. We played against bad generals. This is the history of bad generaling. I don't think our general had played one game in the woods. And I'm sorry.
Hey, this picture right here, that's from that game. I ran around with a flag the whole time. That's honestly what I
I
did.
have a huge problem when your leader puts himself in timeout and leaves the field, doesn't tell anybody, and at the point of not just, we all get heated. We all walk away so that we don't do something stupid. But when you're so angry that you remove all of your paintball clothes because you are so angry and you have to put yourself in timeout, we are LARPing in the woods, people. Stop taking this game so fucking seriously.
What she said. But it was atrociously organized. And by that I mean it wasn't organized at all. But I still had a lot of fun. We brought our little teacups. You made those shirts.
Those shirts were awesome.
We were lobster backs. There have been pictures of them. I ran around with the flag the whole time. That was the first event I had truly just gone to for the fun of it. Where like I didn't honestly care to that much of an extent whether I won or lost, how well I did in the game, anything like that. I was just messing around because I knew I was too tired to put forth my usual amount of effort into it.
And that's what we planned on from the beginning. We were just
because it was the weekend after Ion. We knew
it's the weekend after Ion. We wanted to see what Buffalo paintball had to offer. And you know what? If they would have said 4 games of capture the flag, it would have been a pretty decent game. It was the fact that they called it a scenario and they had missions and they put effort into really 4 games of capture the flag. The first mission being the worst capture the flag game I've ever been a part of. But like, in essence, the capturing the generals, that was a cool idea.
Yeah.
If it was,
they just didn't implement it at all. So next was the ICC. We went to that. We watched it. It's honestly not that good to watch. You can't see very much.
I got hit.
I did get to hug K69 though. Yeah.
Go away.
She's an angel.
I got hit 6 times. I got hit more than most people play and got hit. I was like, what is this?
It's true.
It was also really hot that day.
It wasn't as hot as Bunker Hill though.
No, it wasn't, but it was
so
hot.
next was Temple of Doom. So Temple of Doom was another Mission Masters. They only did 2 this year. We had a good portion of the team there.
Sorry.
And it was not great either for Mission Masters standards. And it's a little unfair for Mission Masters, I feel, this year because we keep talking about how these 2 this year were not that good. But they're not that good for Mission Masters games. If you compare them to pretty much any other game, they're still better. They're still better than pretty much any other game. But comparatively to other Mission Masters, they were probably the worst 2 we've ever been to. Worst 2 Mission Masters that we've ever been to.
Which, again...
Still better than all the rest.
Still better than any scenario we played this year. I exclude Ion. I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm excluding Ion because that doesn't really count. But there were a lot of spawn issues. But never to discredit Dean. He puts so much time and effort into the props and the writing and all the objectives within the one mission. And he does a great job. So even though they were not as enjoyable as other Mission Masters we've been to, they were still Mission Master games.
And still much better than others. But, so he had a cool idea, one that I've actually wanted to do before, where he introduced basically a 3rd team. He did it a little differently, so there are plenty of games, including Mission Masters games, the big ones, not the ones here in Pittsburgh, where they have a 3rd team or a 4th team even. And sometimes, like even at Arbitrage, they did this, where there is a neutral team essentially, where they're not on either of the main teams. They don't really have objectives. They're just there to throw a wrench into the system. And so he did that, but they would randomly choose, I believe it was 6 players, 3 from each team, to be like the guardians or the temple guardians, each round, and I thought that was a very interesting idea. I was the second person picked for the first mission, which I knew was coming because Dean had told me he had a special surprise for me. I knew what that meant once he started going through the rules. I was like, yeah, I know it's coming. And I really liked that idea. I don't think it worked out the way he wanted it to. I'm not sure the reason for that. I'm not sure if there weren't enough people. I'm not sure if the people chosen didn't always know exactly what they were supposed to be doing. If it was the locations, I'm not sure exactly what it was. My theory is a big part of it was because they picked 6 different people every time, you never really got an understanding or a feeling for what you needed to do and how you needed to do it.
I think people didn't grasp it as a concept that it was going to happen and weren't prepared for it. So, like, when you got shot and people thought that other teams were cheating because of where the spawns were located, and they didn't keep it as a recollection that there's a group of 6 people shooting at you. Because I know I forgot at one point because I got shot.
Basically, what she's trying to say is, if someone gets somewhere and they get shot and they're like, there's no way that they got from there to here before me, it's because they forgot those 6 people already started there. The 6 started where the mission was. So they were already there waiting for you when you showed up. And so people kind of got a little angry, I think, sometimes because they, like she said, they would forget that they were there to begin with. But for me, I think that extra team would have worked better if he had just 6 people through the whole day that were those temple guardians from the beginning to the end. So that they could get a feel for what they needed to do. The 6 of them could work together, and kind of understand it and get a feel for it and be able to implement it a little better. I don't think it worked out the way he wanted it to, and I think that's a big reason. But it was a really cool idea. I can see why he wanted to do it, and I don't think it was wrong of him to do. I just think it didn't quite implement the way he wanted it to. But I got to do it, obviously, and I did badly.
I enjoyed the Mayan aspect.
There's there's some hard missions in that one though. So the spawn points, unfortunately, for both of these mission masters this year were not good. But there was this one mission where and apparently it was for every mission, from beginning to end. There were Mayan symbols that we had to find and then kind of decode. I thought it was actually just mission 1 at first, and then it was ongoing. I didn't realize that. I don't think either team ever found all of the symbols. I found a good amount of them. I kind of cheated a little bit in that as we were walking off the field, I was snapping photos of them. But we still didn't complete it. I have no idea what it was.
There were body parts or like skulls of some nature that had red dots and blue dots, but you couldn't really, they weren't like extremely noticeable. And so people were taking the wrong things, and that wasn't very clear because I remember I was holding a position that had a bunch of skulls in it, or not skulls, but skeleton pieces. And they're like, we don't care about the blue. Because I think weren't we red? I don't remember what color we were.
I think we were red.
But again, giving it up to Dean, the stuff he implemented for that was creative. There were a lot of interesting aspects to it. I think the worst part of both of those mission masters was the spawns.
Yeah, the spawns were definitely... There was one point at Temple where we had to get to a stone, one of those Sankara stones from Temple of Doom, and we had to trace... There was a wood block that had a picture on it we had to trace with crayon. They were both in the same bunker on creek. From that bunker, I was holding that position, and I was shooting at these people, and the one wouldn't leave. I hit him right in the head. I saw it burst. I saw him go, because it hit him in the head. And he wouldn't leave, and I was like, Dean, that guy won't leave. I hit him. And Dean was like, well, that's their spawn. And I was like, oh, okay, well, let me know when I can start shooting them. He was like, you shoot them now. But they have a 1 minute leeway, so it's not going to help you. Because within a certain radius of their spawn, they have a 1 minute. I was like, well, and so typically, and this is with, I would imagine, every scenario, but definitely Mission Masters, if you're shooting into their spawn, they'll actually hold that against you, and they'll push you back, usually, to get you away from the other team's spawn, because they don't want you spawn camping, which makes perfect sense. I'm 100% behind that. But they couldn't do that in this game, because I was where our mission was, shooting into their spawn. It's not like I had run past I was way up, front line ahead, trying to keep a buffer between us and the mission or whatever. I was in the bunker that had our specific mission that I was holding and shooting into their spawn. That should not be possible. You just shouldn't be able to do that, because he can't move me because I'm where I need to be. He can't move them because that's their spawn. That shouldn't be a thing. So I don't know. That doesn't. It was no good.
We got shot up a lot in respawn.
Yeah, there were some.
And the
spawn
one
issues.
mission,
Mission 3 was a big,
it was a disaster.
big problem.
And Alex,
Yeah, Mission 3 was a big problem. I just remembered I wanted to mention about Bunker Hill. So I was saying that we were going to take it easy, and we were just going to have fun and take it easy. And yet, when the first buzzer went off, I was the first one at the front line. I was in front with my flag. Everyone else was behind me. I look back, I'm like, where the hell is everybody? There's no reason that me taking it easy should still be the front line. That doesn't make any sense. But anyway, that's way behind. Back to where we were. But it was fun. He had good ideas. I don't think they worked out the way he wanted to.
I believe the next one is
Reaper Siege is next. So Reaper Siege was at P3. It was the big one for their year. They did. You could tell that Jen and Kivo did a lot of work. They put a lot of effort into it. It's better production value than last year by a lot. And the gameplay was all well thought out and very good until the last 10 minutes of the game. I've ranted enough about the last 10 minutes of the game. I don't need to say it again. But basically what it comes down to is they cheated. They won because they cheated. That doesn't mean they wouldn't have won otherwise. They could have won anyway. I'm not saying they wouldn't have won. I'm saying that the reason they did win is because they cheated.
Also, they blew up the bomb. We should have won by default.
Yeah,
they blew up the bomb.
So that's the one thing that apparently Kevin didn't think about. And in fact, he told me that that's the one thing he did not think about.
I'm surprised Jen didn't think of it, because they work
But basically what happened
so well
was
together.
they put an airstrike. So one of the things that the general could do was buy an airstrike. So the good guys called in the airstrike for the location of where the bomb was that we had put together. We had to hold the bomb until the appropriate time. The bomb would go off and we would win. Or they would defuse it and they would win. Well, so they put in the airstrike on the coordinates of where the bomb was, which killed all of our people. So they marched in, and that's where they cheated, but for different reasons. But the part that doesn't make sense is if they airstrike where the bomb is,
they blow up the bomb.
Logically, they blow up the bomb, and we win. And like I said, Kevin actually told me that. He was like, that's the one thing we didn't think of, and because we hadn't thought of it, it wasn't in the rules, so we had to allow them to do it. And I was like, I don't care if it wasn't in the rules, you shouldn't have allowed them to do it because it doesn't make any sense. But in any case, that's not the American Patriots' fault. That was them using the rules to their advantage. They asked, they were allowed to do it, so that makes perfect sense. I don't hold that against them.
No, that was a flaw.
Yeah, that was a flaw on the writer's part.
But the one great thing
I actually commend them for using the rules to their advantage on that part.
Also, the one thing about Kivo is that he will admit that, shit, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, he told me straight out. He was like, that was the one thing I didn't think of, and I didn't know what to do, so I let them do it.
Which makes sense. Like, understandably, it blows up the bomb, but if that's not expressed in the roles,
Where's this accent coming from?
I don't know.
Bomb rolls.
I don't know. Sometimes my southern comes out. I don't know.
I don't think that was Southern. I'm not sure what it was. But in any case,
appreciate you making fun of me.
was that the game where I yelled and got really pissed? Which game were you talking about there, Minion? Was that?
Yes, it was Minion. He was talking about Temple, and yes, it was because I was right behind him, and he was real mad.
What was he mad about?
Last mission where we were getting the stones, our spawn was in the creek bed where the water buffaloes are.
Mm-hmm.
We were standing there, guns on the ground, and they started shooting at us, like firing at us. And Minion got real mad and started screaming at everybody, and I was like, whoa, I'm gonna just walk away from Minion right now. I'm just gonna let Minion go with his bad stuff.
Okay.
He was really mad. I mean, he was getting shot at. He had every right to be mad because he was screaming, this is our spawn, stop shooting. We don't have, like, we weren't armed. All of our guns were on the floor. We were legitimately just standing there. And I think at the point he lost it was that we couldn't respawn again. So we were just kind of sitting there chilling. And then he got real mad and he just decided to walk off the field. I applaud him because he was screaming. He was real mad. When Minion gets mad, Minion gets mad.
But so that shows you that it was both sides. So they were shooting in our spawn, we were shooting in their spawn on different missions, and so the spawns were laid out bad. But anyway, yeah. So for Reaper Siege, it was a good time. Like I said, the production value was way better this year than last year, and I had fun last year. It was the first time I had ever run with first strikes. So that was fun. I didn't run the whole day with first strikes, only had so many. I was put on an anti-sniping mission, and I got the sniper, so that was pretty good. Because Paul was generaling, and he said to me, hey, I have a mission for you. And I was like, what is it? He said, there's a sniper out there, I need you to go get him. If you think you can do that. And I was like, I'll try. And Paul was like, be careful. He's hitting a lot of people. He's preventing us from moving forward. The line is stalemated, so he's pretty good. And I was like, well, I probably won't, but I'll go get him. I'll do my best. And I did manage to shoot him out. It took me, I don't know, probably a good 10, 20 shots to get him, but I did get him, and he did not get me. So I was pretty happy about that. I still have a lot to work to do when it comes to... I probably would have gotten him faster with round ball, honestly.
Mike Mowry shot me in the butt. I appreciate it.
And I have to give a huge shout out to Mike, by the way, because at the end of that game where they were all cheating, or a good 15 of their team was cheating, he was part of that group, and he did not cheat. He played respectfully and honorably, and I have to give a huge shout out to that.
I walked off the field and he was like, yeah, I shot you in the butt. I didn't mean to, but you were in the way. Because I had the bomb at that point. And luckily we had a drop point very close to where I had gotten shot in the butt. He's like, yeah, I was trying to shoot the people that were covering you, and your just butt got in the way. I was like, thanks, Mike. You shot me in the butt, but thank you for telling me.
Well, your butt was in the way. So after that, we had Minion's little event. So that was fun. It was supposed to be a bigger event than it was, as in it was supposed to be all the fields were going to be open, and you had to get the flags, and every 10 minutes they were going to cut the flag. So it was kind of like a mini scenario, honestly. But I guess just not enough people showed up. Is that what it was?
I think so. I don't know.
But basically just ended up doing open play. So it was fun. Nothing special, just fun. Apparently they raised a good amount of money for hemophilia, which is good. They're going to do it again in 2020, so everybody keep an eye out for that. It's a good charity to give to. All the entry fees went to it, and then you could donate, buy raffle tickets and merchandise. We got shirts and everything. So I recommend everyone go to it for 2020.
And again, it was well done. It was very organized. It was well done.
On the hemophilia side.
On the hemophilia side.
Not on TRP side.
I think Minion has probably been around us long enough and has been playing the game long enough where if something doesn't work, you just improvise right away and you figure it out. And, whether it was going to be pulling the flag every 10 minutes, which sounds fun and would have been great, just having fun and playing with new players, getting them into the sport, and just playing some capture the flag. That was fun too.
While we're on the topic, Minion, just keep in mind for next year, for 2020, I actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure the reason they didn't do all the fields open at the same time is because Tyler was the only ref there.
That
So
could have been it.
what you should do is for 2020 get some what am I looking for? Volunteers. That's the word. Get volunteers to be out there and count the flags. That way, it's because I think that what it is Three Rivers doesn't want to pay to have somebody out there not just counting flags.
That's exactly what it is.
They don't want to pay for that. So if you have volunteers that will do that, it'll probably work out better as far as what you wanted to actually happen. So keep that in mind. But in any case, it was a good charity. I had a good time. ADOG did not, for reasons that we won't go into, unrelated to gameplay. It had nothing to do with the gameplay, but she ended up having to leave. So next was
I had a good time while I was there, Minion.
the two-man tournament up yonder at Bad Company again. This time Dalton and I were on team. ADOG was scorekeeper and announcer of who was up next. Dalton and I did very well. He was an idiot and had hurt himself the weekend before, or a couple of days before.
So he fell into a hole playing soccer.
Yeah, he didn't
And
hurt
he
during
just
soccer.
didn't-
Just fell into a hole.
Well, I think he fell into a hole while playing soccer. But there's a lot of ways you can hurt yourself playing soccer, specifically
And he did it
your
by
ankle.
falling into a hole.
He did it by, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just gonna wrap it up."
Turned out it was
twisted hairline fracture, blah blah
Yeah,
this, dislocated it, blah blah that.
lots of problems. But we came in second place, so I'm happy with it. It was a little unfortunate that at the end, and again, I'm not saying we would have been in first. I'm not saying we would have won otherwise. And I'm not even saying that they cheated, because they certainly didn't cheat. That was none of that.
There was no cheating.
It was unfortunate that the team that came in first place played against the last team they played against. Half of the team, literally half of the team, because one of the guys had to leave. He had to go take his son somewhere. He had to leave. So they were one man down. So they had to get just some random player to be on his team. But basically, they just played it for fun. It counted as a bye. And so the team that came in first just got an automatic 100 points because the team they played against had to count as a forfeit. And so they came in first. We came in second by how many points?
60.
So it was less than 100. So basically, if they had lost that game or not gotten all of the points, we could have come in first.
The problem is that the team that lost a player and had a side player won that game.
They did win. They actually they
beat the.
they won 100-0, which is really funny, but
So,
none
like,
of it counted, unfortunately.
That's what's really sad is that you
Yeah.
would have won.
So yeah, but like I said, there was no cheating by any means. They were very honorable at it. They offered to have it count, all that stuff. They were actually willing to play. They were going to play the 2-on-1 or whatever they wanted to do. It was just the way it turned out. So nothing negative about it. It was just unfortunate for Dalton and I, where we could have possibly been in first, but we ended up coming in second.
But
Pretty good, still pretty good.
Would have shot more paint because the team that won.
Shot a lot of paint. They shot a lot of paint.
At one point, I saw him reload twice after shooting a full hopper at Dalton. So, at least 500 balls flew at Dalton until one hit him in the elbow. That's a
Basically-
lot of paint.
Yeah, basically in one game they shot more than I shot the whole tournament. And I was trying to shoot a lot of paint. So they shot a lot of paint. But still great sportsmen, everyone that was there. Not a single problem that day. I don't think there was one single problem. The one we went to, there were two small problems. I was one of them, honestly. At that one though, not a single
There's
issue. It was wonderful.
usually the people that play at that tournament have played. They're not first timers, and the first timers there are usually little kids.
But it seems like for that one, and I don't know if this is because it's a 2-man. I don't know if it's the environment. I don't know if it's Tim makes sure this happens. I don't know what it is, but I feel like everyone is just there to have a good time, and no one takes it too seriously. Seriously enough where obviously you want to win. You're playing to win.
I mean, you win money.
But it's not to the point where somebody's going to cheat in order to win. It's not to the point where someone's going to yell at the ref because of a bad call or anything. It's just a good time, and I highly recommend that if you haven't been to Bad Company, go.
The hardest part of that tournament is paying attention to gun hits. And
That's because we're not used to it.
because a couple I played one really bad game when you and I played, and that was against Jason. But some of my problems were I got hit in the gun, and I had one instance when we played against the Christmans where I had my barrel out, and when I pulled my barrel back in, I saw paint on it, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this, and I didn't want to cheat. I didn't want to be that person. So I asked the ref, and he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. So I got caught out because I got hit at the tip of my barrel.
Which honestly might not even been.
It might not even have been.
Speaking of which, one thing I did not mention about the game we were at, we came in, I think, like I said, it was 7th.
It was 8th.
It was either 7th or 8th. But either way, we beat the team that came in first, and we beat the team that came in third.
We
So
beat
that
the
felt
team
pretty
that
good.
came in.
First and third.
I thought second too.
Band of Brothers came in second.
Oh yeah, we didn't.
And we did not beat them. We
No,
lost to them pretty
That
badly.
was my fault.
We lost to them pretty badly. No, I did not play well against them either. But in any case, we beat the team and came in first and third. But when Dalton and I played, we came in second. We did not beat the team that came in first.
Because they slung so much paint at both of you.
We had, on part of it was also my fault. I should have played differently than I did. Dalton and I had an idea of what we wanted to do, and we implemented that. But at a certain point, the amount of paint they were shooting at us, it was bound to like one of them was gonna get me, and one of them was gonna get him, and that's eventually what happened. I should have done something a little differently. I'm not gonna reveal it because if I play against them, I'm gonna do it. And I think we would have won if I had done that a little bit differently. And next year, if Dalton and I are on a team again, hopefully his ankle will be better, and we'll win.
I love you,
Okay.
and I think you're a wonderful player.
But
There's no but.
there's a
But I
but.
don't want you to get upset when I say that.
There's a but coming.
Watching Dalton play hurt, he truly is an incredible player. And I'm very glad that he's on my team because I don't want to play against him. He's truly an incredible player, and people were like awestruck of how good he played being hurt. Like they were afraid to play against him hurt.
Are you saying that Dalton's a better player than me?
No, I'm not. That's why I didn't want you to go that way. I'm not comparing you. I'm keeping my opinions so far. They're in a whole different ballpark. What I'm saying, and I think it should be applauded, that even hurt, he's an incredible player. And I just want everybody to know that.
So Minion said, so a Clark amount of paint is what I'm hearing.
This was double
Yes.
Clark.
It might have even been more than Clark, but
This was like 4 Clarks in 2 players.
I'm not quite sure that that's accurate.
No, I don't. But yes.
It was basically picture 2 Clarks on the same team. That's pretty much what we played against. But the point is, it was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend everyone go and have fun there. Next was I played the street ball tournament. A-Dog also played the street ball tournament.
If we all go and play as Dunedain, there's a high percentage.
One of us will come in first.
All of us will be in top 3.
We'll be the top 3. That would be fun. But anyway, so for the street ball tournament, that was a good time. It was not a Dunedain event. It was just the 2 of us, and because it's street ball, they pull the names out of a hat so you don't know what team you're on. We were not on the same team. She was on purple, I was on orange again.
Did you
My
have a
team.
good time?
I did have fun. I had a lot of fun. I didn't have as much fun as I could have. That's again not because of the gameplay, not because of the rules, not because of any of that. What it came down to was my team unfortunately just did not mesh well. Um,
You had a giant on your team.
we did. The one guy was like 6'3", but
He's
our
like 6'7".
our team did not mesh well, and that's why we came in fifth out of 7
Weren't there 8
or
teams?
6 out of 8. Maybe it was 6 out of 8. We did not mesh well at all, which is unfortunate. I think that there was some talent on our team. The
You
one
were-
guy had not played in a long time, but he used to play a lot. What were you saying?
I said you have a lot of time.
Well, thank you. I love you too. But we just didn't mesh well. A Dog's team did much better. They meshed much better. You came in third, right? Third. So good for them.
I did nothing. I had one good game.
She says that she did nothing, but here's the thing. Her first game on Vietnam, she got 3 people out. She got 3 people out, which didn't count for any points. That's not the way that this particular game works. But she got 3 out of 5 of their team out, and then one of her teammates ran forward on that side, got the flag, and then ran the flag over. So he got all the glory and got all the points, but she did all the work. Yeah, she didn't have a good day.
I didn't say I didn't have a good day.
And that's with having such bad paint
It was
that
really
we actually threw it all away and bought a new box. That's how bad that paint was, and she still managed to do what she did. Never ever anybody let her tell you she's not a good player. Don't you ever say anything like that again. That you're
Okay.
not a good player.
The advantage we had as a team were 3 of
No,
us.
just stop talking. You did all the work.
3 of us work at P3. That helps. We meshed well. We communicated, we had a game plan, we talked while we were on the field. And
Eric says that you're better than he is.
I don't think so. But anyway. But thank you, Minion. I appreciate that.
You're definitely a better leader than he is. No offense, Minion, but you're definitely a
I
better
take
leader.
more leadership positions than he does, though.
That's true. Yet my point stands.
Okay. Well, I hope. I mean, I am top dog. Funny. Terrified to still play speedball. I'm
The
so
reason-
upset about my speedball.
The reason that she played was actually because I signed her up.
I
she
told you
was
that
not
you
a play,
had to.
She would not have played if I hadn't signed her up.
No, you
And
didn't.
I only signed her up because she told me her New Year's resolution for the year was to play a speedball tournament. Well, this was the closest I could get to her. Get her to play speedball, other than signing up for like seeds or something, which none of us are ready for.
No.
I would be terrible at seeds.
I was really upset, and here's the one thing I was upset about on my speedball game. I shot the guy. I thought it hit him in the mask. It apparently hit him in the neck, bounced off, slid down his shirt. I was like, you couldn't have broke? I was real mad about that.
Then we went to the P3 charity event.
For
It was just
UNICEF?
it was just a regular open play day. So it was a good time. They collected
Toys.
toys for homeless people, or what is it?
I don't think it's homeless. It's UNICEF.
I don't
Not
know what that is.
UNICEF.
Basically, poor children. They give them Christmas gifts. So again, a good charity. They'll probably do it next year. I recommend everyone go to it. Keep an eye out. We were one of the sponsoring teams. Like we were, our logo was on with a couple other teams, like 5 other teams. And so it was a good time. It was just a regular open play day.
That was it that we did.
That's what I just said.
I wanted to see something. Continue talking.
Okay.
I'm checking.
So then we had our meeting. Doesn't count as a game, obviously, because it wasn't a game.
It was for United Way. So it just went to children who are less fortunate. I don't think.
So poor children. Gave them gifts. Again, a good cause. You should go to those 2 charity events that United is important for, or we help sponsor, or whatever you want to say. So everyone look forward to those for 2020. And so we had our paintball meeting. We decided a few things. We went over some rules for team members for next year, and kind of talked about what we're going to be doing for the year and everything. I won't go over any of that now, but hopefully 2020 is going to be a good year.
What are you most excited about?
Honestly, I am most excited for. I'm not going to tell everybody what it is, but you know what it is. I'm most excited for a good portion of the team to go to that one event.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it a surprise. I told Doug that I had a surprise for him. I haven't told him what it was.
You just told me.
But I didn't tell him what the surprise was
No.
because there's a couple of things it could be. And I'm actually
naked, wrapped up in a bow.
I'm actually honestly surprised.
Just kidding.
I'm excited about all aspects of this one thing, but yeah, that's probably the most one. But yeah, so that was pretty much 2019. So I look forward to a good 2020 for our team. Loki, stop!
You're upset that you put him in there.
And that's all I got.
That's all I know.
Cool. Well, we've been talking long enough. We've rambled for a long, long time. So, Happy New Year, everybody. And we'll see you next year.